A very warm welcome, Mr. Kant. It's always a pleasure to have you, like Ruchika mentioned. Without wasting time, we'll begin with the subject that we decided on, geopolitics. So how is it that you are looking at the geopolitical situation? How should we navigate?
First of all, Nivedita, let me congratulate you for getting a full house early morning at 9:45.
It's because you are the speaker.
No, no. So, no, it's compliments to business standards, great ability to do a great conference. So basically, to my mind, there are three things happening geopolitically. One is that the relative period of stability which was established post World War II, with the establishment of institutions like United Nations, Security Council, and later the World Trade Organization, that period of stability has come to an end. I mean, you're seeing war in Europe for over 4.5 years. You're seeing conflicts in Middle East. So the era of stability has come to an end. We should recognize that very clearly. Second is that in the last 4 decades, the world has been able to lift a vast segments of population above the poverty line because of the rise of global value chains, the supply chains. Post World War II, Japan could grow on the back of exports. Later, Korea could penetrate global markets, and in recent times, this long spurt of growth of China from 1990 to 2020 has been based on its ability to be a very integral part of global supply chains. That has got completely fractured. So global supply chains have got disrupted. But in the midst of both these two disruptions, we are sitting in a room at a point of time when the world is going to see the biggest rise in productivity ever. We are living in an era of growth and prosperity because of data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And what was not feasible earlier, this is a general purpose technology's rise which will penetrate every single sector of the economy. It's like very much like electricity, which will transform every single sector. And what was not feasible earlier to improve learning outcomes, health outcomes, we used to call them slow moving indicators, will be possible, or stunting, wasting in nutrition, will now be possible to monitor, get them on real-time data, analyze them, put them out, and actually transform in a very big way because of the power of artificial intelligence. And therefore, these are three critical things that are happening in the world.
We'll come to machine learning and AI a bit later. Before that, you've been a bureaucrat, outstanding bureaucrat for so many years. Would you have dealt with the geopolitical situation any differently had you been in position of power at this point?
So my view is that when there is disruption, when there is a breakdown in global value chain, it provides India a once-in-a-generation opportunity. When cracks appear, it's an opportunity for an emerging market to rise. And that would require us to do several things to be able to penetrate global markets. You need scale, you need competitiveness, and without the size and scale of manufacturing, we should know that it's not complete deglobalization what that is taking place, it's reglobalization. From just-in-time inventories, we've moved to friendshoring, we've moved to trust, resilience, predictability. Trust will become important features of this. So this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for India to get the size of and scale of manufacturing. Services sector, data flows, capital flows have not got impacted. In fact, there's been a rise in services, there's been a rise in data flows, there's been a rise in capital flows. The goods component of the global trade has got badly impacted. There is where the opportunity arises, and that opportunity will happen because India must realize that it's not just ease of doing business, it's the cost of doing business which is high in India. And the cost of doing business is high because the rate of credit is high in India. Our we've our you know in India, credit is high is because our SLR rates are high, our priority sector lending rates are enormously. We put several constraints, but statutory liquidity ratios amongst the highest in the world at around 18%. That needs to be calibrated and brought down. Similarly, priority sector lending, while it's important, needs to be more targeted. And therefore, the rate of credit must come down in India. It's very important to understand and benchmark yourself against why did China become a manufacturing nation. And I'd like all your viewers to read two books. One is Apple in China, and the other is The Chip War. Both will demonstrate to you the power of what China was able to do with Apple at that point of time was simply because they were able to push large-scale manufacturing at the state government's level. The land was given on long-term lease at very low rates, power was provided, credit was insured, large-scale workers were provided, women workers entered, and huge amount of jobs were created. Now, those are learning lessons. India may do it differently. We are not China. We are not an autocratic country. We are not a one-party rule. We are a vibrant, energetic democracy. But there are learning lessons from that you need to become very cost competitive. And cost competition means credit rates coming down. It means that your rate of power must be lower. It means that land must be provided on long-term lease at lower rates. And therefore, our focus must shift from ease of doing business to cost of doing business now.
This morning, we saw the news that that the US is again imposing 126% tariff on solar imports, and that may hit India. So, if you had to look at the US situation, what would your advice be to the current set of people in the government, whether it's bureaucrats or ministers, that how should they go about things, especially with US?
See, the challenge with Trumpian tariff is that it's become very unpredictable. America has become very unpredictable and inconsistent in its policies. What policy they announced today is subject to variation. Tomorrow, is likelihood of Supreme Court striking it down, and then it's all subject to constant negotiation. What is decided today uh, may not be, maybe modified day after, and therefore my view on America is that we should stay the course for some time, and tell them that we need predictability and consistency of policy over a long period of time. To do business requires predictability, and therefore we should stay the course for some more time, wait and watch on what is happening. Don't rush up in this moment.
Wait and watch on the US. Moving on to AI, a subject that you've been talking about, you're very vocal on that. Mr. Kant, what are the challenges on the way in dealing with AI?
AI is transformational. It's going to have a major impact on uh, global growth, is going to have a major impact in terms of productivity. It will transform the lives of each one of us in different ways. It will permeate every single sector. The challenge is that AI is an energy guzzler. Today, AI consumes, more energy than the entire country of Japan consumes.
Your latest book refers to it.
Yeah, it refers to this. One query on AI it consumes more than 13 times more energy than what you do by a query on Google. So it's an energy guzzler. So two things. One is that AI, in India's context, we need to make DPI for AI. We've created our digital public infrastructure, which enables India to do fast payment, credit, insurance, stock market, all within 30 seconds to 1 minute. It is open source, it is open API, it is globally interoperable. It has made a difference to the life of citizens. It's important that whatever we do on AI, it should not end up creating inequality. What is happening in the Western part of the world is that you've created unequal society. India can grow long term at 8 to 9% if we take the entire 1.4 billion people along. So you need to make sure that AI, much like digital public infrastructure, reaches everyone. And therefore, we need to ensure that we are able to provide. India has data. The strength which India has is that it has data. 1.4 billion people have digital identity. We have the talent, and we need to ensure computing power to our research students and to our startups. And we need to make sure that AI models that we develop are multilingual, because India has 22 languages and many dialects. So what Sarvam AI has done is ensured that we are able to do AI multilingual. If AI is not multilingual, if AI is not low bandwidth, then it is not fit for purpose. If AI is only a guzzler of energy, but it is not able to transform the impact of climate in agriculture, in circular economy, and we are not able to benefit, AI can be transformational for agriculture. Through satellite mapping, just-in-time inventory, AI can be transformational for circular economy, all these areas. So AI needs to be made fit for purpose in the Indian society so that it transforms the lives of citizens, it transforms learning outcome, it transforms health outcomes, it transforms stunting and wasting. And that, to my mind, is critical for AI in the context of India.
Talking of energy guzzler, and it is also a water guzzler, we've been talking about it. So what is the solution really? We are setting up so many data centers, multinationals are coming and committing billions of dollars, but what's the way ahead really? Do we have the wherewithal?
So no other country has the wherewithal which India has. India has already done about 260 gigawatt of non-fossil energy. But India needs to ensure that these data centers are run on renewables with small modular reactors as the base load. And not merely that they are run on renewables, which India will be able to do because India is climatically blessed. No other country is so climatically blessed. But you need to upgrade your transmission lines. You need to upgrade your grid. But transmission lines are critical because even today we are facing a shortage of transmission lines from the solar areas of Rajasthan and Gujarat, and we are losing renewable energy because of the lack of transmission lines. So upgrade transmission, it's critical. Upgrade grid, make it smarter, generate more and more renewable for data centers, make sure that they run only on renewables, back them up by small modular reactors, which is what the government has done by allowing private sector for small modular reactors, so that data centers are sustainable. They do water recycling, they run on renewables, they upgrade your grid, and we are able to use the heat generated for purposes of district cooling.
A connected question. We are focusing so much on data centers. Is that the right way to go about it? Or should we focus more on R&D? On AI, are we on the right path?
Several things have to happen simultaneously, and it's a very important question that you've asked. First and foremost, just look at what OpenAI is doing. It's consuming so much of computing power. Its latest deal with NVIDIA is for 11 gigawatt of computing power. 11 gigawatt of computing power means about 5 million latest GPUs Blackwell model from NVIDIA. 5 million. In India, we are talking about 50,000, 60,000 GPUs from NVIDIA. 30,000, we said we'll buy another 20,000 or so. Now, the challenge for India is we are a champion of software. The key is to do good, very sophisticated software with limited computing power. AI will get commoditized. Much like we use Google, AI will be commoditized like Google tomorrow. We'll all be using. Important for India to demonstrate to the world that we have won on the basis of good software with optimized computing power. And I'm saying this because the battle for AI has just begun. In technology, the battles are won over a long period of time. Look at Clive Osborne. He invented the first laptop. He didn't win the race, he went bust. The battle was won by Apple. Alta Vista did the first internet. Alta Vista was sold, it went bust again. Google won that race. So the race is going to be long. AI will get commoditized. It's important for us to see that we are able to do with limited software and create products. There'll be AI products, and the products should be at very, very low computing power, but very high software. Second point, which is very important for us in India, is that we use our data is enormous, and our data is today fueling many of these large companies abroad. Our data must be, Servem AI has created a great product, but a great product will benefit only if we Indians use it. Data will make it more and more sophisticated. So Servem AI must be fueled on Indian data, and that is critical. If Indians don't use Servem AI will find it very difficult to match the world's best, because data and data and data alone is the key to the success of Servem AI, and Indian data is critical.
Data is key. Just talking about what you are doing now, and you had a long career as a bureaucrat. Now you're engaged with the corporate world in various ways. You are on the board of many companies. How different is it for you to be on the other side? Is it tougher to be in the corporate world, or is it more challenging to be in government?
No, I feel quite liberated outside the government. So all of us who worked in government should move out of government at some point of time and work in the private sector. If you are capable, you should be able to work outside. I also work with a lot of civil society organizations. I work with in the field of education, health, climate, economics, many, but I advise a number of corporates. I'm on the board of several corporates, and it's a very enriching experience to me, because I'm a believer that India can grow only if free enterprise can grow. India can only grow on the back of private sector. India can't grow on the back of government. Government should make the right policies, but the private sector is the key to growth. If in the next 30 years we don't unleash the energy of India's private sector, India can't grow at 9 to 10%. It's the private sector which has been the driver of growth across the world.
But suppose there is crisis in the government, and your response will be something else. But there is turbulence in a company. How does it pan out really? How is the reaction?
The turbulence in the company requires the same matured approach, and that
you experienced it recently.
No, I know I wasn't there at that point of time in the company, but every turbulence, any company can be hit by turbulence, but it requires a very seasoned, matured approach. It requires a long-term perspective. It's important to look at some of these issues. It's important to look at this issue from a perspective of how to ensure that we get back into good operations, be sound and smooth over a long period of time.
Before we take a couple of questions from the audience, I'll ask you my last question. When you stepped down as G20 Sherpa in June 2025, you said that you will be involved in the transformational journey towards Viksit Bharat. How is it happening?
So the challenge is that you're moving from 4 trillion to a $30 trillion economy. And this is very, very challenging. Very few countries have been able to do it. The challenge is to grow at about 8x your GDP, your per capita income has to grow 9x, your manufacturing has to grow 16x. It's very challenging. Only 3 countries in the world have been able to do it. Japan, Korea, and China. All other countries, 108 countries of the world are caught in middle income trap. And this, to my mind, really requires very major structural reforms, not merely in the center, but I think states have to be a driver of growth. I've always maintained that there are 4 key things which are critical for India. One is very good sustainable urbanization. Secondly, size, scale, and competitiveness of manufacturing, which will then enable you to export. Third thing, which is, to my mind, very, very critical, is that your human development index, India grows on only 50% of its population. The other 50% has to become very active participants in India's economy, which is what the government is attempting to do with several economies, and that would require in several sectors, but that would require you to improve learning outcomes, health outcomes, and improve the physical quality of life index. And fourth, very, very critical, is that you need at least 12 states to grow at about 10% plus for the next 3 decades. So these are my 4 key things for India to become a $30 trillion economy. But along with that, rate of credit, India's private credit to GDP ratio is very low. At 50%, it is very low. It is 220% in US. It's 180% in China. It's 165% in Europe. 50% credit to private credit to government debt may be high, but private credit to GDP ratio is very low. Without greater penetration of credit, India can't grow. You need greater credit to flow to the private sector. That has to go up enormously. Without credit, India can't grow. And for that, the statutory liquidity ratio must be calibrated and brought down over a period of time.